In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how I make $15.19 a month in my TFSA. If this interests you, stick around and I'll show you exactly how I do it with what covered call ETFs. Also, I've noticed that most of you are not subscribed to the channel, so if you'd like to help out and grow this small channel, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it a ton. Let's go. Alright, so let's talk about the numbers here. So I'm making $15.19 per month. That equals $18,228 per year, and that's tax-free income. So if you have not maxed out your TFSA already, you really should consider it. And honestly, I think it's the first account, the first investment account that you should fill out of all the other accounts that you can possibly think of. Remember that TFSA amounts can be pulled out whenever you want, so if you'd like to withdraw and use this amount to do whatever you'd like, if you'd want to travel or get your teeth paid for, you can do that. And just in case if you're not familiar with covered call ETFs, essentially these are ETFs that generate monthly income or sometimes bi-weekly income that you can spend if you have it in your TFSA if you'd like to, or you can decide to reinvest the amount fully as well. Okay, so let's take a look at the portfolio that I have in the TFSA that generates me this income. This slide is kind of a bird's eye view of my portfolio. I don't have the exact dollar amounts written here, but I do have the weight concentrations of each of the covered call ETFs that I own in the portfolio. So really quick, I have HHIS, HBIX, QQCL, QDAY, HYLD, UTES, and MSTE. These are all of my holdings, and my three biggest holdings are HHIS, HBIX, and QQCL, which is basically the NASDAQ 100. Alright, so the first one that I have here and my largest holding in this portfolio for my TFSA is HHIS, and it has a mix of dividend paying companies across multiple sectors, then enhances that dividend income by selling covered call options. So it has a high income focus, it's got a balanced sector mix, its distributions are monthly, and it's definitely one of my core holdings in this portfolio. It helps generate a ton of that $1,500 of revenue that comes in into my TFSA. And I love this because it's just a machine. It's done well. It's actually outperformed the S&P 500 as well for the year of 2025. Okay, so next up we have HBIX, and HBIX provides pure Bitcoin exposure while consistently generating income through options. It's designed for investors who want Bitcoin exposure with an income overlay. So the market exposure is Bitcoin, right? If you're not a Bitcoin person or you do not have a long-term belief of Bitcoin going up, please do not purchase this covered call ETF. Don't just buy Bitcoin because someone else told you to do it. Make sure that you have a personal conviction. All right, so next up we have QQCL, and honestly, this is a anchor like ETF, covered call ETF, because it provides stability. The NASDAQ 100 has been performing very consistently and consistently well, consistently above the S&P 500, and so the QQCL is just a no-brainer for me, and it's stable. Alright, so next up we have QDAY. QDAY takes an aggressive approach by using daily option strategies instead of monthly covered calls. It trades options more frequently to capture premium in volatile markets. This generates frequent income but comes with higher complexity and risk. It is a tech heavy covered call ETF, and if you believe in tech long term, I don't think it's risky. Again, risky is in the eye of the stockholder. So if you believe in tech long term and this covered call ETF does hold a significant amount of tech, basically all tech, then this could be risky for you. But if you believe in tech long term, then it's definitely not risky at all. I love QDay and I get distributions twice a month. Okay, so next up we have HYLD, and HYLD is essentially a S&P 500 covered call ETF. Again, it's kind of one of those anchor covered call ETFs that needs to be in your portfolio to just provide that stable foundation. You don't really not need to worry about it. You just kind of set it and forget it type of thing. So it's obviously got multi-sector diversification. It's got I wouldn't say a high yield, kind of a average yield, It's a broad market covered call ETF, obviously, and then it provides income instead of having to sell like the S&P 500. Okay, so next up we have UTES, UTES, and utilities are classic defensive investments, stable, regulated, and essential. So UTES provides lower volatility income that helps balance the more aggressive positions in the portfolio. When markets are turbulent, utilities tend to hold their value much better. So it does provide that stability again. It's got low volatility, it's very reliable, and it provides balance in your portfolio. All right, so the last one and a small position of this is MSTE. So MSTE is also Bitcoin focused. It uses leverage in the base, the foundation of the covered call ETF, which is MSTR, just the nature of it. And then on top of that, it's a covered call ETF. So it's kind of double leveraged in that sense. So some people would say that it's too risky of a stock. I kind of think it is on the riskier side, even for me. That's why I have a lower allocation of funds to it in this portfolio. And that's another piece of advice. If you feel like something is on the riskier side for you, but you would still like to own it, you can still own it. You would just decrease the amount you have in terms of weight for your portfolio, so you're covering your risk. Okay, so it's important to emphasize that this portfolio generates 1519 in tax-free cash flow every single month. If I want to pull it out and use it for something, I can, and that is the real beauty of the TFSA and the covered call ETFs. Point number two is this portfolio is diversified with 7 different ETFs spanning tech, utilities, broad market, and high yield strategies. The portfolio avoids concentration risk while maximizing income. And just due to the nature of covered call ETFs, it boosts the yield by selling covered calls on underlying holdings. All right, so if you enjoyed this video, please comment, like, share, and subscribe. And I hope to see you in the next one. Hopefully this gave you some insight into what to buy in your TFSA to generate some income. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.